Take the core features of Auto-Tune, throw on an effects section, add an auto pattern generator, and you've got Auto-Tune EFX Plus. Let's take a look. First up, we've got input, key, and scale. Input is soprano for typically high females, alto or tenor for low females, high males, and of course low male, and then instrument for keys or guitars or other things. And then we have our key, one of the 12 keys that are available, and 3 scales, major, minor, and chromatic. You can also create a custom scale by adding or removing notes here in the keyboard section. Check out our other video on Auto Key for information on how to set key and scale automatically. It's a great little plugin, especially if you don't really know the key or the scale that you're in. Next up is format. Formats are those non-pitched aspects of the human vocal tract, the fricatives, the plosives, the glottal stops, everything that you don't want pitched. When format is active, it employs sophisticated DSP to not pitch those things. Format is switched on by default in EFX Plus. Next to that is the Auto-Tune button, and it's on by default, but there may be a situation where you only want to use the effects section, or you want to only use the Auto-Motion section without the Auto-Tune part engaged. If so, just turn it on or off depending on what your needs are. Mix is essentially a blend control for the whole plugin, and if you want a great doubler, try setting mix to about 50%, applying Auto-Tune, and assuming your vocal isn't too far off to begin with, you'll have a great effect. One default setting you might want to know about is use low latency. It's checked right out of the box. However, if you're going to use the pitch and throat effect, you'll turn it off for the best audio quality. Retune speed refers to how fast the Auto-Tune effect responds. It's in milliseconds and it defaults to 20. I set up a quick session to demonstrate this effect. Let's listen to the raw file with EFX in bypass. Now, if I engage EFX with the default retune speed of 20, here's what it sounds like. And you can distinctly hear the scale degrees. C minor. Now, if I jam it up to 0, it'll be that classic Auto-Tune effect. Let's hear what that does. I typically like a retune speed somewhere between 30 and 20 because at 20 milliseconds it tends to smooth out all the rough edges of a vocal. Of course, if you want the Auto-Tune effect, jam that sucker to 0 and you'll be on your way. The retune speed will go low enough where the Auto-Tune effect just won't respond at all. For instance, if you had it down to 400 milliseconds, well, it would take 400 milliseconds, almost half of a full second, to respond to any pitch changes, and by that time the phrase might be over, so be careful. Typically, I like a setting of between 20 and 30, and that works well for pop music today. Sometimes, especially at high retune speeds, long notes can sound unnaturally static. Humanize helps alleviate this problem by slowing down the retune speed just for the longest notes. Let's take a look. One of the best ways to show this is to play a vibrato note and slowly raise the retune speed. You'll hear it tighten up, but as I apply Humanize, you'll hear the vibrato come back. The EFX part of this plugin, the effects section, is really cool. There are 6 included effects. You can load up 4 at a time with presets. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I've loaded up a new session to show. Let me just play the track quickly. Is it like my heart is turned to stone? Let's solo the vocal, and let's bring up one of these Vocode presets. Ghost Cutter, I think, is the one I want to go for. You'll see that 3 of the 4 slots are filled with an effect. Vocode is really unique to the Auto-Tune family, and it's the one I want to focus on here. So we get center pitch shift and Vocode mix. Let me play you what it sounds like, and then I'm going to move the XY pad. It's quite the opposite. And if we play with the pitch and throat, and of course the tube amp, we can really mangle this. And it's the XY pad with its 2 controls which make this really simple, and so you can see it's a really powerful part of the plugin, and with the included presets you'll find something that will suit any input. The last thing we want to talk about is EFX gain and EFX power. Power simply turns the EFX section on or off, and gain controls its relative level. Flipping the tab from Auto EFX over to Auto-Motion reveals the whole step sequencer part of the plugin. So let's go through the auto pattern generator really quick. The AutoMotion pattern generator is probably the coolest part of this plugin, so I've brought up a new session with me singing a couple of notes to demonstrate. I've recorded 2 notes, me just singing a C and a B flat, and I pitched it down. The first thing I'll do is hit host sync. That's going to tie the tempo of the pattern generator to my DAW. Then I'll put it to 1/16th note. Next is the pattern selector. There are many patterns to choose from. I'm going to choose one that I've put in, JCG minor ARP 1. Next is play pattern button. And nothing will happen until this button is selected. So let's play our track. And then when I press, it'll play the pattern. There are 3 trigger modes we need to be aware of: momentary, toggle, and auto. Momentary is simply on and off when you press it. Toggle is on and off latched. And auto uses the audio itself to trigger the on-off states of the pattern generator, and that's useful because the pattern generator starts on the first note that it senses. So any break in the audio with a note change will trigger a new pattern. Let's demonstrate. With auto mode on and play pattern standing by, let's play the track. So I have a pattern based on C minor, and when I sing the B flat, the pattern will re-trigger in B flat minor because of auto mode. Going back to our other session really quick, I want to show you how momentary can be used in real time as the vocal goes. So if I play this part of the section, I'll hit momentary right where it needs to be. Spotlight so hard. And it can give you a really cool effect, especially if you want to automate some of that stuff. Style affects the immediacy of the note onset. Let me demonstrate. A little softer effect here, and a full-on legato. So that's Auto-Tune EFX Plus. Thanks for watching.